Today we're going to be talking about conclusions, or how to wrap up your essays. Good writing ends with a strong conclusion. Sometimes a conclusion is also called a closing. No matter what you call it, a conclusion should provide the reader with a satisfying ending. What papers use them? All of them. Today we will focus on conclusions for expository papers. Types of conclusions: you could use the memory strategy, advice, emotions, lesson learned, summary, and sometimes hook strategies even work. What we don't say is that is the end of my story. Now I'm going to end my story, or goodbye. Those are not strong conclusions. Similarly to an introduction, a conclusion has two parts. A conclusion is the last paragraph of your paper. In the conclusion, you wrap up the essay and then you state the opinion of your paper. Let's look at some sample conclusions. These were written for an expository paper about your favorite hero. I remember the first time I heard the story of James Bonham. I thought maybe it was just a legend. That's just a wrap up strategy, a memory. But then, just like our introduction, we have to add the opinion part to end it. Once I found out it was true, I knew Bonham would always be my favorite hero. Another strategy, if I can get this to go to the next slide, is advice. If you ever find yourself struggling to decide what to do in a tough situation, think of James Bonham. If he could do the right thing, I bet you can too. And then we add the opinion after the wrap up strategy. Oops, somehow that just got skipped. No, it won't show us. I'm having so much trouble with my slideshow today. Here it is. As my favorite hero, Bonham can still help people today. So I have the wrap up strategy, advice, and then the opinion at the end. Emotions is another wrap up strategy. Sometimes tears run down my cheeks when I think of him. Not sad tears, tears of pride. And then you put your opinion at the end. You put your wrap up strategy first, then your opinion. James Bonham makes me proud to be a Texan and proud to choose him as my favorite hero. Now, lesson learned is a little bit like advice, but advice, you're telling the reader something they should do. And with a lesson learned, you're telling something that you learned from this topic. When I'm having a hard time deciding what to do, I remember the heroic actions of James Bonham. Not only is he my favorite hero, he also inspires me daily to do the right thing, even when it's difficult. So here's the opinion, and there's the lesson learned. Summary is pretty straightforward in this one. You don't really put the opinion at the end, you really put it at the front. And in summary, James Bonham is my favorite hero. And then you just summarize the reasons that you gave in your paper for your opinion because he was a loyal friend and brave. You can also use a hook strategy as a wrap up. Sometimes it works just as well at the end as it could at the beginning. These are some you've seen before. No help was coming, Bonham sadly admitted. Even though he knew no one was coming, Bonham became my favorite hero. This is a quote and an opinion, and you could use that at the end just as well as the beginning. And here's another hook strategy used as a wrap up using the question strategy. Again, this is one you've seen before. Would you sacrifice your life to stand up for what you believe in? James Bonham did. That is why he is my favorite hero. And remember when we talked about questions before, if you do decide to use this as a wrap up strategy, you have to make your question a little bit stronger than, do you have a favorite hero? He is my favorite hero. You want it to really get the reader thinking with your question. And that's all there is to wrap up strategies. I cannot wait to see what you come up with today.